beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kali.alexandria and I'm so excited to have you in this video today. I'm going to be talking about the 8 financial mistakes that you shouldn't make in your 20s. And as a girl in her mid-20s just navigating through life, all of these tips are super important to know if you're just on your financial literacy journey. But before we get started, make sure you give this video a like if you end up enjoying it. Stick around to the end because these tips are just chef's kiss, so good. And I love making these type of finance videos, and my passion in life and the videos that I make on this channel are all about, you know, day in the life, routines, like lifestyle, quality of life, and everything with that realm. So if you are also an ambitious and driven and motivated individual, you will love my channel, so make sure you stick around. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into this finance video. My background with money hasn't always been that great. Growing up, I didn't really learn about money all that much. It has mostly been self-taught kind of after I started college and got to know my finances and how much things actually cost in the real world, so to speak. So my finance journey is still pretty small, but I feel like I have learned so much. This is so much fun to share and learn because I love everything numbers and finance, and I feel like everybody should really have a grip and handle on their finances as well as they're entering their career field or whatever it may be in life in your 20s. I am in my mid-20s and I feel like I have done a pretty good job about like navigating my finances as a self-employed person, but these tips and advice will also be good for somebody like in a career field. Whatever field you may be in, these tips are great to like incorporate in your everyday life also. And I do want to quickly say, I feel like I have to put this in here, but I am not a financial expert in any way. I just have a passion and drive for it. I love learning more about finances and personal finance and financial literacy. So take that as you will. I am not a professional in this field. This is just what I've learned and what I have grown to learn. So keep that in mind. Without further ado, let's get into number 1, and that is putting too much on your credit card and just swiping like crazy, because I know we have all been there. I have definitely been there as well, but it is so important to try to limit that as much as you can, especially for somebody who has just started on their credit journey. And while your credit score is so new, it is super easy to be like, oh, I have a $3,500 limit, let me just swipe my credit card. But let me tell you, that is gonna impact your credit score, obviously long-term and short-term, and then it kind of puts like a bad habit into your financial routine. So try to actually spend money as you have it. So whether that's coming from a debit or checking account, make sure you're like spending the money that you actually already have, because credit is the money that you actually don't have that you have to pay off. Now, it is super convenient if you have, you know, a big purchase or your car breaking down. It is super nice to have a credit card just so you can swipe it, you can earn rewards, and as you get better with building your credit, you kind of get to learn more about the rewards and the perks of having a credit card. But be smart with it and don't spend too much on your credit cards, especially the money that you don't have. Number 2, a mistake. Don't ignore your student loans. So I do not consider student loans as bad credit. They are actually good credit because they help you, you know, get a job in your career choice, to hire your education. Student loans are a super good type of credit, but you do have to be careful because they accrue interest. Obviously, it's a loan, so you're going to be paying more than you actually take out initially, so just make sure you don't ignore it. If you can, pay it off sooner. Like, that is always such a good thing to do. So yeah, if you can, do that, but just don't ignore it. Make sure you know it's there. Don't just like completely turn a blind eye to it. Just make sure you know that it's there and that you're eventually gonna have to pay it off. Number 3, lifestyle creep. Spending more than your means. Spending more than you earn can honestly strain you mentally and physically. The worst type of stress in my opinion, is financial stress. And whenever you're kind of in a lifestyle creep, you're fresh out of college, you actually get a salary and you actually have like a stable paycheck, it's easy to be like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. So try not to do that. Like, make sure you live within your means. There are so many things online that help you determine like how much you could spend on your apartment monthly with the salary that you make. So just check out those different calculators. There are so many things online. There's so many resources for you guys to learn about, but just don't have lifestyle creep. And I have definitely struggled with this because as a self-employed person, I am making more money than I did a year ago, which is great. It's a great upward trajectory, but I will say that does come with lifestyle creep, and it's just knowing to, you know, maybe be more intentional, tone it down a little bit, and not want the newest and greatest things. Another thing that I want to say is, honestly, it has been the worst that it's ever been with social media and being tempted to buy the newest and greatest things. So if somebody on your Instagram or whatever it may be is pushing you to buy like the newest things, unfollow them. Like, it doesn't harm anybody to unfollow somebody like that. But I will say it is nice to kind of, you know, follow people who get those deals and those Black Friday sales and who share about them. And for me, I started off as a fashion blogger on Instagram, so it was super easy to like get wrapped up in buying the newest purse, the newest shoes, the newest clothes. But you kind of have to like get back into your own body and be like, no, is that really important at the end of the day? Yes, you might get that instant gratification that we all love with online shopping and spending money. I get it all the time, but try not to do that. Number 4, not saving for your emergency fund or retirement. It is never too early to start saving for retirement. And you guys, I have learned that at the young age of 19 years old, and being a self-employed person, I don't have a 401k or a company match or anything like that, so I have to be motivated to put my own money into my Roth IRA and save for retirement. Your older self will thank you if you start saving for retirement. And I know as you get into your career field, it could be a little bit overwhelming with, you know, figuring out where your finances are going, you're paying rent for the first time, things like that. But just keep that in the back of your mind. The younger you start saving for retirement, the more compound interest is gonna accrue in that account, and the more you're gonna have whenever you retire. Another thing I did want to mention is saving for an emergency fund. There's so many different ways you can do this. It's honestly different for every single person in your situation, but try to save a few thousand just for your emergency fund. I know some people say to save at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses just in case something would happen. We have a freaking pandemic again or something like that, something happens to your job. It's always nice to have that little cushion because, like I said, financial stress is the worst type of stress. Number 5. Now this one might ruffle some feathers, and this has always been a super controversial and touchy topic, but that is maybe not buying the brand new car. Do we really need a great brand new car? I mean, in my opinion, no, not at all. My car, you guys, is $1,500. I got it used. It is a Nissan Altima and it has 200,000 miles on it. A new car is in my near future eventually, but I am procrastinating that so much because it is so nice not having a car payment monthly. And I know we want something reliable, we want a nice car, I get it, but look into the used cars. Like, there are so many different cars out there that can get you from point A to point B without buying a new, like, 2021 big vehicle. That is just something to think about. You can buy cars for a relatively cheap price, so I highly recommend looking into that and not making a huge mistake in your 20s, because the average car payment is like $480 a month, which for me, I use what would be my car payment on travel and business expenses. So it's really up to you. If you're really into cars, great, buy that brand new car. But if you're like me and you like experiences over things, then think about maybe buying a used, cheaper car. Number 6, and that is not taking advantage of your employer benefits and 401k. So many people make this mistake because it is something that honestly isn't talked about growing up, and it's super hard to figure out. But if you guys are starting to work for a company, make sure you max out that 401k and take that employer match, because that is free money. I'm super passionate about retirement in this topic. Make sure you're always doing that. Number 7, and another mistake, is not making a budget. And no, this does not mean you have to be super strict. You don't have to limit yourself in any means. For example, I mean, I live, a decent lifestyle, and I would never want to give that up, but I kind of got into this fog like the past few years, especially as my income was increasing. It is super hard to, be more intentional with your money. So I actually downloaded the YNAB app, which is You Need a Budget. It is on the App Store. I highly recommend it. No, this is not sponsored. I just love it. And I started using the cash envelope system, which has been honestly transformational for me, because I feel like I'm more intentional with my money nowadays. So I highly recommend doing those two things. And honestly, having a budget, I know there's so many opinions with having a budget because it's so taboo, and people think that you're not able to spend freely in what you want, but that's simply not true. It just helps you kind of know where your money is going and being more intentional. And that's why I have just started budgeting, and it has saved me literally so much money, and it really helped me put my priorities in a row and helped me just think of what my goals are, short term and long term. So I highly recommend just creating a budget for yourself. This can even be in an Excel document. And lastly, number 8, we are going into missing payments on your loans or your credit card or anything of that nature. Missing payments, honestly, it is something that is so easy to do, and it's so simple to forget a payment if you're not set on auto pay or something like that. But it honestly puts you into a massive hole, because that late payment stays on your credit report for years. And you guys, whenever I was first starting to pay my student loans back, I accidentally forgot to put it on auto pay, and literally I missed a payment by like one day. I think it was something like super small, and that just got like off my credit report 3 years later. So make sure you don't make those like silly mistakes that are so simple. But that's just something that you guys should kind of look out for, and make sure you put your stuff on auto pay, especially nowadays. I think like every type of loan or credit card has auto pay now. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this financial mistakes video. Let me know if any of these resonated with you in the comments. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it and want more videos like this. It was super fun to go over and make, because I'm so passionate about this topic. But thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you guys around in the next video. Bye!